welcome to the Manchester United Women's Show. Here's what we've got coming up today. We get an exclusive look behind the scenes at Arsenal. Zara Connolly analyses a captain's performance. We'll hear the pre-match thoughts from Christen Press. And I'll be catching up with Casey Stoney on what is sure to be a momentous occasion for the Reds. Well, welcome to the Manchester United dressing room here at Old Trafford, and welcome Siobhan Chamberlain. This is a pretty epic dressing room, isn't it, for the Manchester United women to be getting ready ahead of their game against West Ham. What do you think the atmosphere is going to be like in this room?
Well, knowing some of the players as I do, very excited will definitely be one of the words that I'd use to describe it. But I think the anticipation of walking out on the pitch, of playing at Old Trafford, there'll definitely be a little bit more nerves. And I think sometimes that's a good thing, because when you're nervous, it brings that extra edge of performance on. But yeah, definitely a lot of excited players when they walk into this changing room on Saturday. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, if you look around, it's pretty incredible to be sat in here as well, just talking with you. But you know the players inside out, and of course you shared a dressing room with the players. Are there any superstitious players in there? I know yourself, you've got a couple of stories as well.
Yeah, well, I think Casey probably got quite frustrated with me in a fun kind of way, not a bad frustration, but I was always the last. I'd always want to go to the loo just before we went out, and she'd start her team talk, and she'd be like, "Chef," and I'm like, "I'm coming." So
she sat there like,
yeah, pretty much.
Who could it be?
So I'm sure she'd be pleased not to have to deal with that, but. Yeah, Millie Turner and Katie Zelem are always making sure that the hair's sorted. They have their plaits, as do I. So yeah, it's just everyone's got their own little quirky situations, and love a little bit of loud music as well. I'm sure it'll be pumping in here.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a good place to do that, isn't it? I was going to ask, who is the dressing room DJ, or who do you wish it would have been?
It was Katie Zelem, but I think there was kind of a little bit of sharing. I think they shared it out, a few songs for the older players. I think Abby McManus had like a kind of really, really slow song. I can't remember what it was, but it was one that she posted in the group, and everyone was like, this is not a song that's going to get you up for a game. So I'm not sure if it managed to stay on the playlist or not.
So what, you have to put the song into the group, and then they decide whether that's a good enough song to be played in the dressing room?
Well, to be honest, I think most of the songs make it, but that song I think was questioned a little bit.
Well, you mentioned it before, Siobhan, about how much it means to be here, but just put yourself in the player's position, because you've been there as well. How much will it be preparing to go out on that pitch, especially sitting in here? You've got your kit ready behind you, and just preparing to get yourself out and play at Old Trafford.
I think that's where Casey is so important, and her experience will shine through, because it's about making sure that they stay grounded. Don't get too overawed by the occasion. Yes, enjoy it. Yes, go out there and think, wow, this is a momentous occasion. But you've got to be out there performing to your best, focusing on getting those 3 points. But I think at the same time, you've got to enjoy it. If you can't enjoy an occasion like this, when can you?
Yeah, exactly. And it's just a real shame, isn't it, that we can't welcome the fans here just yet. But hopefully in the near future, they'll be able to enjoy this occasion as much as the players are going to be doing on Saturday.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm sure the Barmy Army will be loving it, and all over Twitter, making sure they're watching on MUTV. And yeah, it'll be a fantastic occasion for the fans when finally they are allowed back in the ground. But safety first, and hopefully they can enjoy watching on TV. Yeah,
absolutely. Okay, let's turn our attention then to last Friday's clash against Arsenal. We sent a cameraman and our reporter Molly Comita down to Meadow Park to get a unique behind-the-scenes experience of what it's like reporting at the game.
I'm here at Meadow Park, home of Arsenal women, where tonight behind me, Casey Stoney's side are arriving ahead of tonight's big clash. United will be looking to record a league double over the Gunners here this evening. Let's take a look at some of the tonight against a strong Arsenal side. Lots of positives though to take moving forward into the final stretch of the season.
That was our reporter Molly down at Meadow Park, and what was a pretty difficult away game really, wasn't it, Siobhan? What were your thoughts on that game against Arsenal?
It was. I'm sure it was very frustrating for Casey and for the players. I think you look at that first half and they had opportunities to score and to pull back from that first early goal. But unfortunately, I think at this level, it's that clinical and ruthlessness that you've got to have. And that's probably where Arsenal just about edged it.
And it's a real chance, though, now for us to bounce back in what could be a momentous game against West Ham as well.
Yeah, to play at Old Trafford is phenomenal, and I'm sure all the girls will be really looking forward to it. Walking out through this tunnel and stepping out onto the hallowed turf and the theatre of dreams. Just saying it makes me incredibly jealous that I'm not here playing myself.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, we're walking through the tunnel now as well, where the players will be walking through. But of course, the fight for that top 3 places is still on as well. It's not over yet. Looking at the table, of course, Manchester United currently in 3rd place, Arsenal 4th place, but they do have that game in hand as well, with the 3 points still to catch up with us. And if they do, they will catch up as well. But it will be difficult, won't it, for Arsenal, because the pressure really is on them as well, isn't it?
It will, and I think if the games go to form, both teams should win all games. That never normally happens fully, so you never know what you can expect. And United have just got to go out there and take every game, as Casey said beforehand, as a cup final and try and get maximum points, and then put pressure on Arsenal and say, look, we've done everything that we've come here to do. You've got to match it. And
of course, the season started off so brilliantly as well for us. 10 games unbeaten. We were top of the Women's Super League at Christmas time as well. So, the progression shows in such a small amount of time as well how good it's been.
It does, and I think that's sometimes the frustration when you start so well to then peter off a little bit. You then give yourself those high expectations, those high standards, and you say, right, we're up here, we want to stay here. And that's a great sign for United to have. But you look at, if it does go to form, if both teams, Arsenal and United, win their final games, United will finish on equal points with 3rd place. You look at the table last season, there was a 13-point difference. That's a huge way that they've improved this season.
Yeah, a real progression. All right, time to take a quick break now. But before that, let's take a look at the social media round. Well, as you can see, me and Siobhan have perched ourselves down here in the management seats and the dugouts as well. And you've put yourself a heater on as well. It's nice and toasty, isn't it?
You're exposing me there. But yes, it's cold outside. You've got to make up for you've got to have these benefits sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it is a great view sat here as well. We've got to talk, Siobhan, about the news that came out that this fantastic new TV deal that the FA have announced for the WSL. And it really will be such good exposure, won't it, for the WSL?
It is, and I think that's one of the things that you want. You want the game to grow, and the only way you're going to get that is by getting more exposure. If you can get it on mainstream TV, channels where people associate with watching football, it's a fantastic opportunity for the game, and great for the girls out there to be able to showboat everything they can do weekly, and just the whole exposure and the growth of the game is fantastic. And to see where it's come from, I make myself sound old, from when I first started playing, even when I stopped playing, like it's so good to see.
Well, like you said there, you're a hugely experienced player yourself, but do you think this was a long time coming then?
Yeah, I mean, I think TV channels, BT Sport, have definitely invested in the game, and they've been there since the beginning. So it's important not to forget the people that showed the game to start with, but to have it on mainstream TV, to have BBC showing games weekly, to have it on Sky Sports. The more the more you can get the game on TV, the more it's going to grow, and the more you can have little girls turning on the TV whenever it's on and saying, "That's who I want to be. I want to grow up. I want to aspire to be the next Millie Turner, Christen Press, whoever you want to be." You can see them, and that makes it so much more real for young girls.
Yeah, absolutely. Really big news there for the WSL. And of course, another bit of news that came out is that the FA Cup is coming back as well, and another chance for United to get their hands on some silverware as well. It's been a bit of a tricky competition, really, hasn't it, for United so far? But it's a chance for us really to focus now on the rest of the season, and also try and secure some silverware in the FA Cup.
It is, and I remember when I saw the draw, and it was like they will play this player, this team, or, and it's so hard to predict anything at the moment, especially obviously with the COVID situation. But the FA Cup's a fantastic competition, and one which I've got fond memories of, and hopefully the girls can go out there, put in a good performance, get through to the next round, and yeah, it's a fantastic opportunity to win a trophy for the club.
Yeah, exactly, as you said there. It's a great competition to be involved in as well. How far do you see United going this time?
There's no reason why they can't go out there and win. They've proven this season that they can beat the best teams. Consistency is important, but in a cup competition, consistency kind of goes out the window. It's about going out there, putting on a good performance, getting the win, and getting yourself in the hat for the next round. Absolutely,
yeah, really exciting to see Manchester United women back in the FA Cup as well. All right, let's head over to our MUTV studio then, where Zara Connolly is talking tactics.
Thank you for that, Pien. The one player we're going to talk about today is captain Katie Zelem. Now, the boss, Casey Stoney, picked Katie to talk about after that emphatic win against Aston Villa. She's been working on all aspects of her game. She's been leading from the front like a captain should. And she's starting to show elements of her true potential here at Manchester United. So we're going to take a look at these clips against Villa. Now, from the get-go here, they already know she's a threat. She's got 3 players here surrounding her, but she's able to have that composure, have enough time to even take a little look up, see what options she's got, and control that midfield. Now, here, once again, she is surrounded. She's only got a tiny amount of space. But Millie Turner here, she's there, she's waiting for that vital pass she knows Katie is capable of. Now here is the beginning of the start of that really worked team goal here at United. She's got a lot of space here on either side, a lot of options to pick from, but she picks it there because she's able to see that gap, run into it. Now this is a really vital part to talk about here. She creates this space and she's able to have enough space there to get ready to make that header that eventually hits the back of the net. Now Hayley Ladd here, she sends that cross in, the header goes in the back of the net, and that's vitally because of the communication skills that Katie Zelem has shown, that Casey Stoney has spoke about. The way she's got her arm up, one of the key moments of the creation of that goal. And that's something we are looking forward to see, hopefully, on Saturday and in the rest of the season for Manchester United.
Well, we've moved ourselves up to the Old Trafford press box. This is where me and Siobhan usually sit when we do our commentary because of the current COVID guidelines, which means we've got to sit here and do our commentary at Old Trafford. There's worse places you could be there, really, isn't there, Siobhan?
There are. It's a fantastic view, but I'm looking forward to having the view of the players on the pitch and not just on the screen. And I think when we do some evening games sometimes when it's pitch black outside and you've just got the lights on the pitch and it's just me and you in the stadium, it can be a little bit eerie. So it would be nice to have the players on the pitch.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, an interesting change for you, really, isn't it, going from player to now pundit? But how have you found that transition?
Well, adding a daughter to the mix and doing a master's, it's been very, very manic. It's kept me busy, and I think it's been a difficult year for everybody, but for me it's been very different to what I'd anticipated, and I've been really lucky in terms of kind of getting a lot of work media wise. I've done loads of work obviously with MUTV, I've been doing some other broadcast work, and it's been a great opportunity for me to kind of progress, test myself, move into new waters, and kind of move on from the playing side of things without too much worry of missing it too much. And yeah, obviously you miss days like playing at Old Trafford, but to be able to commentate on the game instead is a close second.
Yeah, absolutely. And learning how to get your commentary notes in order as well. Me and Siobhan are completely different. I've got the paper notes. Siobhan's got a nice iPad, all technical, looking all nice and neat.
Well, yeah, but you've got the pronunciations.
Yeah, that's true.
Whenever we've got lots of Dutch players playing, I'm like, Pien, I can't say it like that.
This is the one thing that we always talk about, isn't it, before a game? Make sure we get the player pronunciations right. You've got to do it, don't you, if you're commentating?
We do. We try our best. But then when people say they don't mind how you say it, then it makes it even more difficult.
I know, exactly. All right, well, let's focus on the game then on Saturday, which is going to be a huge moment for United women as well against West Ham. The last game as well, it was 4-2. There was goals galore in that one. So are you expecting something similar?
Yeah, I'm sure Casey will want them to shut up shop a little bit and not concede those 2 goals. But it was a fantastic attacking performance. I think Alessia Russo got a goal, Tobin Heath got a goal. And yes, those players are out injured, but the players coming in, if you can score at Old Trafford, you'll definitely want to be celebrating down in the corners. And yeah, it's a phenomenal place to be playing, and it's a tough ask for West Ham at the moment. They're down near the bottom of the league, and they're struggling for points, but they've got a point to prove, and they've still got a lot to play for. So it's not going to be an easy game for United.
No, it absolutely isn't. And who are you looking forward to seeing out on the pitch here at Old Trafford as well? Because we've welcomed a couple of faces back after injury as well. So it'd be interesting to see the team that Casey does pick out.
It will be, and I think Lauren James is obviously a player that everyone loves to watch play in. I think seeing her out on the Old Trafford pitch with so much space to play in, I'm not sure I'd want to be a West Ham defender coming up against her.
All right, those are the thoughts of Siobhan Chamberlain. Time now for a little bit more pre-match action ahead of our test against the Hammers on Saturday.
How was training today?
Oh, it's great. It's great to just get a run through, be with the girls. All good.
And have you got used to the weather yet?
Well, you know, it's turning a bit. It's almost spring. I think it's technically spring, but it's almost spring in Manchester.
It's not too bad. It does get better than this, it does. At least it's not raining. And obviously it's been hugely difficult with the circumstances, but have you settled in okay? Have you managed to find your feet a little bit?
Yeah, I think on the one hand I say, like, I could be anywhere in the world and all I see is the inside of my apartment. But at the same time, it's such a blessing to be here, to be able to do what I love. And so many people have not had any contact with coworkers. So just to be able to be around the team and compete, it's a blessing.
Yeah, that's true. And last week was obviously a disappointing result, but how's the mood in the camp been this week?
Yeah, I think it was really hard. And the most mature and professional thing we can do is be in this week and be present. So leave that behind and look forward. And I think after a loss like that, it's really a challenge to do the job that you have to do, which is the game ahead of you. And I'll be really proud of us for getting our heads on straight and coming out and working really hard this weekend.
And it's obviously going to be a huge occasion to walk out at Old Trafford. Are you excited, or do you get nervous at all?
I think it's an amazing experience to play in Europe because of the rich history in football. And I think a stadium like Old Trafford holds that richness, that history. It'll be an honor and it'll be truly exciting to play there.
But there's still a job to do when it comes down to it. Is everyone focused on the task in hand?
Absolutely. I think, we still have a great chance of qualifying for Champions League if we do our job and we pick up 15 points in the final games where there's a lot of pressure on the top 3 to be perfect, and that is now the job that we have to do.
Yeah, the pressure's really on those coming up behind us now, isn't it?
Absolutely. I think, it won't be easy it's not a given, and it's actually quite a challenge to be mentally and technically and tactically prepared to pick up all these points. Winning games is hard, and it's a tough league. And I feel very confident that, if we do our job, destiny will play out the way it should.
And West Ham are rooted to the bottom of the table, but they need the points, so they're not going to make it easy, are they?
It's absolutely a more interesting game than you would even think if you looked at it at first, because the points are just as important to them as they are to us. And that's when the stakes are higher and higher towards the end of the season. It makes the games more fun.
Good to hear the thoughts there of Christen Press. Now, delighted to say I'm joined by Casey Stoney ahead of the game on Saturday. And Casey, just checking out the pitch, it's going to be a pretty special moment, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Look at it, it looks like a carpet. So I'm definitely saying none of my players would be blaming the pitch for anything in terms of first touch. But I think it's a momentous occasion for the club, for the players. But ultimately, it's a game we want to win.
Absolutely. And what is the mood going into that game on Saturday?
I think really positive. Obviously, we're disappointed with the result last week, knowing that Champions League qualification is now out of our hands. So there is an element of disappointment, but I think this team is about bouncing back. And what an occasion to bounce back to. Absolutely.
Well, let's talk about West Ham then. They've had a pretty difficult season so far, really sitting at the bottom of the WSL table. Of course, they do have that game in hand as well. How do you see their season going so far? What do you make of what they've done?
I think they'll be disappointed, but having said that, every time we've played West Ham, they've given us a difficult game, and I don't expect any less. And it's always difficult to play against a team that's fighting for their lives, fighting for survival. So we're going to have to be at our very best. We have to move the ball very well. We have to be really positive. But this is a game we should be going into with full confidence and belief that we can win.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you mentioned there, they've got some really experienced players as well. Emily van Egmond getting on the score sheet quite a lot as well. Gilly Flatty as well, really experienced player. What do you see them coming into this game as, and how do you think they're going to approach it?
Listen, they'll want to play here as much as we do. It's a big occasion for both teams. I think they'll approach it, that they'll be hard to break down. They've got a lot of physical threats in their team. If they put the ball in our box, we're going to have to be defensively very good. Try to give away as few set pieces as we can because we know they're dangerous. And I think they'll come here with a point to prove.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, the last time we met them, we won 4-2. The goals are flying in everywhere, weren't they? Of course, West Ham also got a couple against us as well. What can you take away from that game? Because it was a great game to watch for the neutral as well as, being a United supporter.
I think we took away that if we attacked and we got it into the right areas, we could score goals. And we did that day. But also I think we learnt a lot in terms of when they put the ball in our box, structurally how we need to be to defend crosses. And I think we've improved a lot since then. Yeah,
absolutely. And going into this game then, what do you want to see from your side going into this one? Because of course a different pitch really, isn't it? And it is a home game, but you're at the theatre of dreams.
I want them to express themselves. I want them to be brave. I want them to be bold. I want them to play exciting football. I want them to do that knowing that we can defend very well. We're not going to turn the ball over in silly areas. We're going to defend when they've got it. We're going to stop the transition when we can. And when we've got it, I want them to be as creative as possible and get themselves in the final third and enjoy scoring goals.
And looking back at the game against Arsenal then, is this a real chance to bounce back from that result? Because looking at the game, the first half we had our chances and looked like the side that we're going to, could have got a goal in there. But what can you take away from that game going into this one?
I think we came away from that game so disappointed. Not because we lost, but we weren't outplayed. We actually used the ball really well in the first half. We created really good chances. We have to take away that when we're in our final third, we have to have a cutting edge, we have to have a clinical edge, we have to finish our chances, because at that level it's fine margins, and we conceded too early. I have to say, in terms of that, I thought it was poor from us, but then I thought the response from the team was brilliant, and I thought we dominated Arsenal for large periods of the game. We have to be better in the final third.
And is that something that you really work on with the players as well, just keeping up that determination to keep going throughout the season, especially when things get tough?
I think at this club you're never beaten. You should never be beaten, and I think they showed that on Friday night, despite not obviously getting a goal. They never gave up. They've always got fight, and you're going to need that for the next 5 games. We need maximum points to even have a chance.
Well, we saw the return of Kristen and Lauren obviously coming back from injury, and they had a good spell of that game as well. Question that you obviously don't like to answer all the time, Casey, but what is the team looking like shaping up for this one on Saturday?
Well, everybody's as fit as they were last Friday this week, so that's pleasing. And we've come through the week without any injuries. So, it gives me a headache in terms of a team selection, but I have to say I thought the team performed really well last Friday. So, it's for me to decide what I need out there to make sure that we can win the game.
And I'm sure there's going to be quite a bit of competition, isn't there, to try and get that starting place as well. And of course, as you say, they're called game changers, aren't they, for a reason as well. But I'm sure the competitiveness in training is upped a little bit this week.
Yeah, everyone wants to play, and that's no different every week. Everybody wants to play, but certain games for certain players, and that's the same this week. And our game changers always make a difference, and they'll be no different this Saturday.
Okay, thank you so much, Casey. Well, that's all we've got time for today. Good luck to Casey and the team for Saturday. I'm sure it's going to be a really special moment for the Reds.
Philip Neville. Scholes. Paul Scholes, 2!
Another rocket from Paul Scholes. What better way to start off Friday's United Daily? Here's what else we've got coming your way today. Marcus Rashford meets Jay Shetty to discuss his rise from the academy to the first team.
We have to keep pushing ourselves every day to be better than we was the day before.
Kristin Press looks forward to an historic day for United's women.
It'll be an honour and it'll be truly exciting to play there.
And we'll take a look back at all of the action involving our international Reds. Let's begin by hearing from our inspirational striker Marcus Rashford as he joined award-winning podcaster, best-selling author and United fan Jay Shetty.
You've had this amazing rise from the academy to the first team. Tell me, what's the biggest lesson you've learned so far, the biggest thing that you've taken away that's been crucial to your success?
Just to try and improve every day. I think as players we've got sort of a duty and a responsibility to give our best for the team. And you know, to do that we have to keep pushing ourselves every day to be better than we was the day before. So yeah, that's just what motivates me and what keeps me going in the right direction.
Did you always believe it was possible, or was there a time when you were like, oh, I'm not going to make it, or it might not happen, or did you always have that confidence in yourself?
I think like you always believe that you're gonna make it as a footballer, because I think you have to if that's what you're trying to do. But you know, making it at Man United is a lot different to making it just as a footballer. And you know, I think as a youngster you have to prepare yourself for not making it at United, just in order to, you know, not get too down if it doesn't happen, and it enables you to keep going. But yeah, to obviously play for United is a massive achievement.
And you can see that chat in full by heading over to the official website. Moving on to the women's team now, and they play West Ham United here at Old Trafford in the WSL tomorrow. It's their first outing at the Theatre of Dreams, but as Christen Press says, the most important thing is picking up the 3 points.
I think it's an amazing experience to play in Europe because of the rich history in football. And I think a stadium like Old Trafford holds that richness, that history. It'll be an honour and it'll be truly exciting to play there.
But there's still a job to do when it comes down to it. Is everyone focused on the task in hand?
Absolutely. I think, you know, we still have a great chance of qualifying for Champions League if we do our job and we pick up 15 points in the final games. There's a lot of pressure on the top 3 to be perfect, and that is now the job that we have to do.
And just a reminder, you can see United against West Ham in the WSL from 1:30 on MUTV tomorrow.